Welcome to the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast, your go to source for insights into the enterprising spirit that fuels Canada's economy, spirit of Canadian entrepreneurship and innovation. I'm your host SK, back again with a show where we delve into the essence of what makes small and medium sized enterprises not just vital economic contributors, but the very heartbeat of our communities. In this episode, we spotlight an innovator in digital marketing field, exploring the integration of technology in business growth and the pivotal role of leadership in navigating the ever-evolving digital landscape. Joining us today is Tory Gray, a visionary in the digital marketing industry and CEO and founder of Gray Company. With a foundation built on cutting edge SEO knowledge, a growth minded perspective, and a collaborative approach rooted in kindness, Tory has become a beacon for major digital agencies, publications, and mentor groups, including Women in Tech SEO. At the helm of Grey Company, Tory leads a senior level SEO consulting team that's recognized internationally for its technical SEO expertise and innovative approach to digital consumer insights. As we embark on this inspiring journey with Tory, it's important reminder to all of us about the essence of entrepreneurship. Each decision, each challenge, and each milestone Tory shares today carries with it a lesson for everyone. Let's embrace the mindset of resilience, innovation, and strategic foresight Tory exemplifies as we consider how to apply this principle to our own ventures. Good morning, Tory. Welcome to the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me.
It's a great pleasure to host you today. Tory, your evolution from a digital marketing enthusiast to the CEO of Grey Company is a testament to the entrepreneurial spirit. Your journey is filled with pivotal decisions and milestones that are both inspiring and instructive. Could you share with us the key moments or decisions in your enterprising journey that led you to where you are today?
So, this is a funny question where the honest answer is I fell backwards into entrepreneurship, a little bit kicking and screaming. So, I grew up with my mom in sales and, with my limited understanding, being a young kid, right, of what I hear, whether the media messages around me and hearing what felt to me like get rich quick schemes or do what you love and the money will follow. And they're not necessarily a lot of hustle culture specifically, things that I didn't identify with and I didn't see in myself. That felt like something rich white men do, right? That's something for them and that's not for me and that's not a door open to me. So I was working in-house. I was in growth product roles and in SEO roles. And I really loved that. And I really, really loved the in-house environment. And I loved working with teams. But after I had my daughter and I was experiencing a little bit of burnout and I was just exhausted, frankly, and I needed a reframe for myself. And I went independent at that time. So I was freelancing for several years. It was probably 2 years into my entrepreneurship journey that I kind of pulled my head up and was shocked, right? Instead of, why am I applying for roles? I like what I'm doing. I love this freedom. I love this control. I love knowing that I can work with the people that I want to work with. I can make good decisions that are good by me, that I feel like I'm doing good by my customers, that are good long-term decisions for me and for them. And I felt better about that than having to work for someone else and follow their decisions. So yeah, for me, it was backed into it and figuring out what do I want for me. And turns out it's a lot more fun than people give it credit for.
Yeah. And you decided to follow your passion, right? Like working and
Absolutely.
helping other small businesses.
Yep.
Like now looking back, what advice would you give to your younger self at the start of this journey?
Mm. Well, knowing what I went through, I think I'd say don't let others define you or your role or the work that you do for you. You get to define that for yourself. Entrepreneurship can look like a lot of different things to a lot of different people, and people's journeys can vary. So don't let the media stories that you hear really put that in a box for you and mean that you don't explore opportunities that might be exciting and wonderful fits for you in your future.
Thanks for sharing that, Tori. Like your journey highlights the importance of resilience, innovation, and strategic thinking in the world right now. So
Mhm.
let's discuss about the SEO in the age of artificial intelligence.
Mhm.
Now, digital marketing is changing a lot because of the AI technology. Tori, we'd love to hear your thoughts on how this changing the way we do SEO and what it means for everyone. How do you see AI like ChatGPT impacting SEO practices and Google's algorithms today?
It's a big and loaded question and a very good one. Google is struggling right now, frankly. They got caught a little bit behind the times. Bing, Microsoft got the jump on them and announced their Bing chat functionality first. There's a reason their stock took a tumble there. And they've been scrambling to catch up ever since. And they're working very hard at it. And they're a smart team. And I think that they will work and they will get it together over time. But they've not had to innovate in a real way in terms of search specifically and that product in a long time because no one's been after them. The competition realistically has not been there. So they're a little bit behind and they're struggling to catch up. And thanks to the AI, thanks to ChatGPT and people's ability to create mass amounts of content at scale overnight, that takes money and that takes resources. Google crawls the web. That takes money. That takes time. And they have to now figure out how to sort through that mess of volume and make sense of it. And so the short-term impact for all of us is that Google results are a little off right now. You hear complaints and there's reasons why. Google, people are adding, say, Reddit to the end of their queries. The new trend now is that Reddit's all over search and you can't get away from Reddit no matter what you do, or sites like Quora, Q&A sites, all of these UGC real user experiences. And to some extent, it's a counteraction to the machines, right? If people want authenticity, they want to hear, maybe they'd rather hear an opinion from 3 years ago from Reddit than the up-to-date opinion of a bot today.
Right.
So in the short term, I'd say brace for impact, explore all the channels, figure out where people are, because people aren't just using Google today. People are also using TikTok. People are also using YouTube. People are also using Reddit. So explore your channels and yeah, it's a time of exploration.
Right. Are there any specific steps that should businesses take to adapt to these changing changes effectively?
Several. I think these are interesting tools. So ChatGPT, other of these large language models where they're using it to create this content, right? A lot of people are creating that. And I think these are tools you can and should explore and use for your processes. But you also have to understand their limitations. And you also have to understand that fundamentally, these tools are very, very good autocomplete. And they're not going to create unique, helpful content that you couldn't already find somewhere on the web, right? It is the next most logical word in a sentence where the web is most likely to put this word here. So what you're getting is a conglomeration of what's already available. It is commodified content. It is not unique and different and valuable. And if that's what your business is here to do, that content can't create it for you. It can create a first draft. It can create short snippets. So I work with it, use it to speed up your processes, perhaps, but don't depend on it so much so that your content becomes so watered down, so generified that you don't stand out amongst everyone else that can also get the $20 a month subscription and put up the same content as you. How do you stand out in that world? So I'd say actually focusing on quality over quantity is the way of the future.
Yeah, as you rightly said, quality is more important than the quantity, and that's a very good suggested question from you. Like you need to ask, like, how can you stand out from the crowd?
Yes.
Yeah, that makes all the difference, right?
It is.
Yeah. Now, there's a basic question for you, for the small business owners, especially, like after implementing the basic SEO strategies, what's the next step for a small business owner to enhance their online presence without a larger budget?
I pretty much always suggest that businesses get, sort of an all-in-one SEO tool suite. So you're talking about 3 of the major tools, and you can pick the one that fits your preferences. That's a Moz or a SEMrush or an Ahrefs. They're all fantastic tools, and they're all going to help you understand the language people use when they search. So you can set up the SEO basics on your site. You can turn on Yoast on your WordPress site. Yoast is a tool to implement SEO. It is not SEO in itself. It's a tool you have to use. You have to figure out which pages do you want to show to users and to Google and which pages do you not want to, and it'll help you do that, and it's great. But these tools, so specifically the SEMrush and the Ahrefs and the Moz, you can use them to understand the language that people are using to query the web. When you know that language, you can reflect that language on your site, and you can meet users where they are to answer what those questions are and help them bridge the gap, connect the dots between what they're seeking and the services that you provide. So that data is power and is the direct, perfect, right next step for you as a business to understand the language people are using and educate them. Sometimes people look for not great search terms that don't make sense grammatically. I'm not saying put errors on your site, but meet people where they are and educate them to where you are as the expert in your business and why they should hire you.
Yeah. And can you share your experience using the Yoast SEO?
Yoast is a great tool. It's a plugin. There's a few default plugins for WordPress.
There's a free and paid version, right, for them?
There is.
Yeah.
And you do get more functionality. You have a better redirect management tool, which is helpful because when a page goes away and you want to map it to a new page, you want better control over making sure that works great and your users have a great experience. Yoast is a tool that does that. It can work great. I'd say it helps you, control your pages that you index. It helps you optimize the pages that you have. What I would encourage you not to do is to put too much trust in their on-page grading tool. So when you're editing a specific page or a specific post on your site and you put in your keyword and then you're trying to get the green light and then you got SEO, that's just a very dated way to view SEO, and you can end up with content that users don't want to read and they don't like you as a business. And I think it could be a helpful guide, don't get me wrong, and I think you can use it, but I think you should use your judgment as probably the subject matter expert in whatever it is that your business does to show how good and smart you are. And that doesn't mean keyword stuffing. That doesn't mean including the same keyword or the same variation of that keyword a million times. Users are smarter than that. Driving all the traffic in the world won't matter if you don't actually convert those users. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
Thank you so much for sharing your practical experience with our audience. As we observe the insights from Tory on the integration of AI in SEO practices, it's a pivotal moment for us all to reflect the evolution of digital landscape. Whether you are just starting out or looking to pivot your existing strategies, consider how you can leverage AI and other emerging technologies to enhance your digital presence. Remember, in a world that's constantly changing, our agility and willingness to learn are our greatest assets. Now, let's talk about the digital marketing intelligence. Marketing intelligence has become a cornerstone of strategic business planning. Can you explain, Tori, what digital marketing intelligence is and its significance for businesses?
Absolutely. This is a subject near and dear to my heart, and I'm very excited to chat about this. So this is what we call DMI, or digital market intelligence. If you think about market intelligence or market research, the surveys run by the Forresters of the world, the interviews, and they're putting together great informative data that helps inform businesses. That sort of data project is out of the scope, out of price, out of range, out of time range, right? It can take 6 months to a year to create that kind of data, to share it with you, to inform, and businesses need to move faster than that, especially SMEs. The price point, anywhere from $100K to $250K, but small businesses can't afford that.
We cannot afford it, right?
It's not a reality. Yeah. So DMI to me is about putting that sort of data, a different way to collect it, in the hands of smaller businesses, tech startups, your local businesses. So what it is concretely is using search data and social data in order to inform and make those decisions. An analogy I often like to use to explain it is the Obama campaign in the US. They were very informed. I think everyone has this picture in their head of what that campaign ran and how they were able to use smart data on the ground to talk to the right people in the right place at the right time. So where did they get that data? Some of that data is understanding, what did people look for? What are the hot topic issues in this city versus this city? One way to get that is survey data. You can run polls. You can go knock on doors, and you can and should continue to do those data sources to the extent of your budget makes that possible. But you can also tell on that local level what people are looking for on Google. What are people looking for on TikTok? Where are people searching for certain hot button questions? And we can tell that through what people search for from a zip code level, a city level, a country level, or globally. I can get pretty broad and pretty narrow in terms of what people are looking for where and when, and I can answer good questions with that. I can also use social data. So that's search data on social, just like you can use TikTok search or YouTube search to find things. I know what people are querying there. But it's also behavioral data. So it's the likes, it's the comments. Are they engaging authentically? Are they commenting, and what's the sentiment of that comment? All of how long are they watching the video? These are metrics that these tools often share. TikTok has APIs where you can pull this data to understand, how are people engaging with this topic? Are people excited about this topic? And so it is actionable data that is available to you, for the price of an Ahrefs or a SEMrush, for $100, $200 a month. If you know what to do with that data, if you understand the data limitations and can leverage it, you can use that or the TikTok API free. There's freely available tools. There is this data that's there, and think about it from a perspective of, accuracy. People lie in surveys, especially if it's complicated subject matter or it's touchy. People might not be quite as truthful. So any data set has its benefits and it has its limitations. And I think DMI's is that it's very scalable. It's got millions to billions of data points that you can speak to. And it can be at times more accurate. And it's also much more quick. And that means the price can come down and you can get more data faster and cheaper. And that's really meaningful to an SME.
Okay. And how can SMBs leverage DMI to inform their business strategies?
There's a few actionable ways. So there's all this data, but how do I use it, right? One particular thing I love to do is to do competitive research. So let's say you are an SMB and you have a big player in your market space and you want to understand, what are people liking and what are people frustrated with about that business? So if the business is big enough, you can understand how many times people are looking for a particular problem and the different ways they phrase it, and you can group all those different keyword combinations together. You can go to Reddit and you can count how many threads and how many comments and engagements and likes there are around the complaints about the business, the complaints about a particular product from that business, or a feature that they're frustrated with, perhaps. And you can use that data to inform what you want to build as a business. So this can inform your product roadmap. What do you want to build? What features? This can inform your brand strategy. What are your unique value propositions? What problems can you solve? This can mean you can go to an angel investor or VC and have good data about what frustrations people are really truly experiencing, and prove that it's a problem that needs solving, that their money is going to be well served to fund to help you solve. You can obviously use it to inform channel and marketing strategies, so that you can put out the right ads at the right time to the right people and answer their questions. So there's a plethora of ways I think SMBs can really use this data to help them. It's data in their hands to make better, faster decisions.
I think this is a very, very important topic that has to be discussed more in details with our listeners and readers for Canadian SME. Yeah. Thank you for sharing your insights on this topic. As a small business owner, how can I effectively measure the impact of my digital marketing efforts to ensure I'm investing my resources wisely?
Reporting is a big and wonderful subject. I think it's a matter of determining the metrics that matter to you, measuring the right metrics that are not vanity metrics. I like to track vanity metrics. It can be interesting to see, but you can't depend on them. So one common mistake in SEO is to measure, say, your DA or DR. Different tools call it different things. It's domain authority or domain ranking. And so I've seen companies use this as their primary SEO metric of I'm succeeding because my DA is going up. The problem is your DR or your DA is a third-party measurement of the strength, the authority of your websites. They're using their own personal way to describe how many links you have from what authority sites, in what context, and how much authority that means that you have. There are ways to game this metric. You can get a bunch of low-quality links that trick the system into making that artificially look high in ways that don't mean that your business at the end of the day actually has more dollars in your bank account, more leads, more product sales, whatever it is that you do. So I think it starts with understanding what the right metrics are and really defining that along the customer funnel. So I actually have a course available from SEMrush. It's a free course you can sign up for, and it's helping you understand what are the right metrics at each stage. So during brand awareness, what do you look at? When you're stepping through from consideration and interest to purchase, what are the right metrics to measure? And setting that up and tracking that and really just optimizing and helping people get from one stage to the next.
Thank you so much. Thank you for tuning into the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast. We are going to take a quick break to catch our breath. Stay with us and we will be right back with more insights and stories from the heart of small businesses.
You dreamt big. You made the leap. You and your "we're not stopping at small" business. Doesn't matter you've never done it before. You unlock those problems. You adapt to change. You learn to evolve. You're pioneers in challenging times, finding your own frontiers. Wherever you e-commerce, UPS is with you. So nothing is going to hold you back.
Nope.
Constant Contact delivers the marketing tools your small business needs to keep up, excel, and grow. Constant Contact, helping the small stand tall.
Welcome back to the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast. We hope you are as excited as we are to dive back into today's topic. Let's continue our journey into the inspiring world of small business, full of innovation and passion. Let's discuss about the challenges. Like navigating the digital marketing industry comes with a set of challenges. Like what are some of the significant challenges you have faced with Grey Dot Company and how you adapted it?
Mm-hmm. So my business has been around, 6-ish years. And so I've ridden a very interesting wave of, pre-COVID into COVID, where things in digital marketing, especially in SEO, were really surging. And suddenly hiring was a big challenge because people were job hopping and they were getting, giant raises to go to this place and to do this, and to do that. And it was kind of the Wild West almost of big deals, big investment, big movement. And then we've seen, thanks to AI, thanks to Google's struggles with their results right now, where, the economy, as we know, is not what it once was. It is showing signs of improvement, I'm very happy to say. So I've kind of ridden the wave of grow, and do it as well as possible without causing the least amount of pain, to very pretty quickly the opposite problem of suddenly everyone's very nervous about the future. They're nervous about Google, and do they invest in this SEO channel because will they find it? Will it be there in the long term? Should we be looking at TikTok instead? Any of these kinds of questions. So I think the key challenge around both of those things, in addition to process and all of these obvious things, are around hiring. So having the right people in the right seats. But one specific solution that I think served me ironically in both of these is that we focus on hiring or seeking out people that are interested in part-time roles. So I'm talking senior professionals, typically, that know what they're doing, that love what they do, and maybe you're burnt out or maybe have aging parents. or maybe have kids, or maybe have health concerns, or maybe have a side project, a startup. Maybe they want to
Side
start their
hustle
own
or something.
venture, but
Yeah.
they still need to make money in the meantime. And they're still great at what they do, and they're still willing to invest time. So I'm not talking about underemploying people. I don't want to force people into part-time roles
Totally
that don't
understand.
want
Yeah.
that. But I think a lot of people are looking for flexible work in a way that I think we know that. I think remote work has become a thing. And to me, the next step, especially as we think of the future of work, especially to the extent that AI is threatening jobs, means maybe there's less jobs or maybe there's less hours distributed across more people would be a hopeful future. So can we provide great part-time jobs with flexibility, with benefits, with pay that makes sense? Because I think a big challenge is sometimes companies think you're in your career or you're not in your career. You want to work 90 hours a week or you don't want to work at all. And there's no in between. And I don't fundamentally believe that. And so my focus on knowing that this was the thing I wanted for myself when I had my daughter, I wanted to work a 35 to 40 hour week instead of the 80 to 90 hour weeks that I was working previously. How do I do that? And I should not be paid a fraction of my income, a fraction of my hourly rate that I got full time because I'm working part time. So I set up my logistics and I set up my process and I worked with my team, to figure out who might want that. And so I give the right solution to the right people. I have full-time people. I have part-time people. They might be 30 hours. They might be 20 hours. It's the right solution. But that enables me to have happier people that work on client accounts to the best of their abilities. Trusting people to do the right thing often means you get trust in return and their effort to want to make good on that. And so I think when we were growing, that was helpful because then we could be agile, right? We could say yes to this project because this part-time person who was working 20 hours is willing to go up to 25 hours for a couple of weeks and then scale back down because they're not already up to here. They're not stressed out. They're not already at 80 hours, right? Or if you think about your team, if you're running an agency, there's a classic problem of you have 8 team members, and if you're waiting to hire a full-time person, so then you've got an extra 40 hours every single week, and that's got to get distributed. So everyone's miserable. Everyone's really stressed out. Well, you don't have to if you have some part-time people that can flex little bits and take on little bits here and there. So it helped me during the growth phase, but it also helped me during the decreasing phase because that meant I had less staffed full-time big salaries that I had to worry about. And so to me, that's a future and how we went about accomplishing it.
Yeah, that's a very good suggestion and a solution for many businesses who are looking for talented people and who want some kind of flexibility and working remotely and, who can accomplish what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Now, how has your approach to these challenges influenced your leadership style and your company culture?
I think it's a lot about listening to your employees or understanding their challenges and seeking real solutions to that problem. I'm lucky because I can see the problem because I got to experience the problem. And so I continue to work to try to listen, to try and see the challenges. So another example of a challenge is if you are freelancing, it's a classic problem that you invoice someone maybe after the fact, 30 days after you did it, and then you're not going to get paid, net 30, net 60, net 90, something. So how many people can fundamentally afford to go 4 months without pay? So instead of making people wait 4 months, I identified that's a problem. I don't want to only work with freelancers that can afford to do this. This means my talent pool is significantly smaller. And so I set up my process. So when they bill me, they send me that invoice at the end of the month. I'm going to pay them within days. I'm not going to make them wait 30 days to 90 days for their paycheck. And that means, I think, frankly, a little more loyalty because, I've had very happy people say, I've never had anybody pay me as quickly as you. And that makes them want to work with me. They trust that I'm going to pay, always a challenge, and that I'm going to pay them on time. And that means they can make their mortgage. And that means they can build their business and then they can have more control over their own future. So again, it comes back to trust, listening and trust and following through with figuring out the processes that aren't the standard business processes.
Yes.
In order to accommodate real human need.
Yeah, your ability to adapt and lead through challenges is a testament, like to your resilience and strategic foresight. Tory's experiences offer a blueprint for facing our own obstacles with confidence and creativity. Let's make a moment to consider the challenges within our own businesses. How can we adapt and innovate to turn these challenges into opportunities for growth? Today's journey reminds us that with the right approach, every challenge can become a stepping stone towards great success and impact. Now, let's talk about the future, like a little bit, like for the audience. Like as we look towards the horizon of digital marketing, emerging trends and technologies promising to redefine the landscape, your foresight into these developments is crucial for businesses aiming to stay ahead. What emerging trends do you believe will shape the future of SEO and digital marketing?
There's several, and we've talked about them today. So AI is having a massive impact. I think DMI will have a massive impact. I think what we're seeing in terms of the youth maybe not using Google to the same extent, traveling to these different channels and using different methods. If they're discovering restaurants in their For You page on TikTok, maybe they don't need to bother to Google something to find that local business, to find that restaurant to go to this weekend. So exploring other challenge. Like this is just a time of exploration. So watching what people are doing, testing in new places, investing in understanding where people are and meeting them there.
And how is your organization, Grey Dot Company, positioning itself to lead these upcoming trends?
In several ways. I think we are at the forefront of offering DMI services. I think this is it's a hugely under-leveraged data set. And so we want to help people use this data to understand where people are and what questions they're asking and how they're going to answer them. So I really want to help businesses actionably, tangibly hear and understand their customers and meet them there.
Thank you so much, Tory, for sharing your advice with our small business owners. Like now, as you rightly said, staying ahead of the future trends is key to sustaining growth and innovation in the digital marketing space. Now, as we near to the end of our conversation, I would like to ask one question that I believe holds immense value for our listeners and for myself.
Okay.
In light of your extensive experience, Tory, and your achievements with the Grey Dot Company, what key piece of advice would you give to those navigating the digital marketing world, practically in leveraging SEO and digital intelligence for growth?
Mm-hmm. I think nothing matters more than listening to your customer and listening to your team. That also means hearing them. So that means using the data that's available to you to identify those questions and where they are and answer them there. It means using your keyword tools to understand their language and speaking to them, actually communicate with them with their language so that you can kind of connect those dots with them. I think there's something so fundamentally important about that because I see a classic mistake all the time where people use their language. They are the expert. They're the SME and they use their language and they do it to sound smart. They do it because they're right. This is the right terminology, but that doesn't help connect the dots with their customers. So I think you have to be able to do both. You have to be humble and you have to speak to them with their language and meet them where they are.
Tory, like how can our listeners or small business owners can learn more about your organization or they want to get connected with you and get some advice from you?
Absolutely. You can look me up. You can search me on Google. You can look for the Grey Dot Company or look for Tory Gray. You'll find us at gray.co. Or the Grey Dot Company.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing your advice with our listeners, the small business owners. Is there anything that you would like to share with our audience?
Mostly that I appreciate your time and what you're doing. We have a lot of challenges in front of us right now with the economy being what it is, but I think we all have hope for the future, and I hope we all support each other in getting there.
Thank you, Tory. It was a great pleasure hosting you today. And thank you so much once again for sharing your insights and experiences with us, with our audience.
I appreciate you having me. It's been a blast.
Thank you. In today's episode, Tory Gray has shared insights from her journey, emphasizing the transformative power of SEO and emerging importance of digital market intelligence in shaping business strategies. We extend our heartfelt thanks to Tory for her wisdom and to our partners RBC, UPS, Zero, and Constant Contact for their unwavering support. To our listeners, This conversation underscores the importance of staying ahead in the digital game and leveraging technology to unlock new growth avenues. And remember to subscribe to Canadian SME Small Business Magazine by visiting our official website, canadiansme.ca, for more insights and stories that inspire success.